The illusion of choice. Please hit that thumbs up button, like and subscribe, and get in that
Governor
comment
Walz,
box.
you said you were in Hong Kong during the deadly Tiananmen Square protests in the spring of 1989. But Minnesota Public Radio and other media outlets are reporting that you actually didn't travel to Asia until August of that year. Can you explain that discrepancy?
Yeah, well, and to the folks out there who didn't get at the top of this, look, I grew up in small rural Nebraska, town of 400, town that you rode your bike with your buddies till the streetlights come on, and I'm proud of that service. I joined the National.
So, ah man. So this guy goes on this diatribe, and it's so long that you forget what the question was.
National Guard at 17, worked on family farms, and then I used the GI Bill to become a teacher, passionate about it, a young teacher. My first year out, I got the opportunity in the summer of '89 to travel to China. 35 years ago, be able to do that. I came back home and then started a program to take young people there. We would take
What was the question? Okay.
basketball teams, we would take baseball teams, we would take dancers, and we would go back and forth to China. The issue for that was to try and learn. Now, look, my community knows who I am. They saw where I was at. Look, I will be the first to tell you, I have poured my heart into my community. I've tried to do the best I can, but I've not been perfect, and I'm a knucklehead at times, but it's always been about that. Those same people elected me to Congress for 12 years. And in Congress, I was one of the most bipartisan people, working on things like farm bills that we got done, working on veterans benefits. And then the people of Minnesota were able to elect me to governor twice. So look, my commitment has been from the beginning to make sure that I'm there for the people, to make sure that I get this right. I will say more than anything, many times I will talk a lot. I will get caught up in the rhetoric. But being there, the impact it made, the difference it made in my life, I learned a lot about China. I hear the critiques of this. I would make the case that Donald Trump should have come on one of those trips with us. I guarantee you he wouldn't be praising Xi Jinping about COVID, and I guarantee you he wouldn't start a trade war that he ends up losing. So this is about trying to understand the world. It's about trying to do the best you can for your community, and then it's putting yourself out there and letting your folks understand what it is. My commitment, whether it be through teaching, which I was good at, or whether it was being a good soldier or was being a good member of Congress, those are the things that I think are the values that people care about.
Governor, just to follow up on that, the question was, can you explain the discrepancy?
All I said on this was I got there that summer and misspoke on this. So I will just, that's what I've said. So I was in Hong Kong and China during the democracy protests went in. And from that, I learned a lot of what needed to be in governance.
Okay, so he basically said all of that to say, hey, I misspoke, which we know means I lied. Misspoke is a nice way of saying, hey, I lied, I got caught, and when you see, basically you lie first, but when you get caught, then you misspoke. So there you have it. But anyway, I just showed that clip because I thought it was funny. But when I talk about the illusion of choice, what do I mean? The illusion of choice. This whole thing, red, blue, Democrat, Republican, right? Millions of people tuning in to watch these guys, these talking heads, right? These puppets talk about what they're going to do and what policies they're going to implement. We go through the same ritual, and that's what we can basically call it now, right? We go through the same ritual every 4 years, all of these promises, right? One side is saying, the future of the country is up for grabs. If I'm not elected, the country is finished as we know it. The other side is promising some type of new utopia, and it's just the same rhetoric. But I'm here to let you know that it's just an illusion of choice. These politicians are well-trained, well-groomed, as you can see, fantastic at not answering the questions. I didn't even watch the debate, of course. I'm not going to waste my time watching some things. But, of course, in search for content, I do, check out some highlights and things of that nature, because I'm smart enough to know that at the end of the day that these are not the individuals that are really in control, right? The people that are in control are in the shadows, and not to make it sound mysterious, but that's just what it is, right? Whether it be corporate entities, billionaires, multinational corporations, if you will, that really are, via lobbyists and various other influential methods, are using these people just as basically as puppets to come out and tell the people what they want to hear and give us the illusion of having say so in these elections and any elections, as it were. And always at a certain point, the truth does start to reveal and manifest itself, as we see with this whole thing going on with this big distraction in the Sean Combs case. We see all of these allegations coming out, and of course the people being wicked as we are. That's right, the people being wicked as we are. We love wickedness. We love salaciousness. We love evil and sex and all that like that. So it's easy to distract us with such things. We love seeing the new allegations come out. Oh, who did Puffy try to get this time? The baby oil, right? We're all distracted with those things right? And away from the real issues, not understanding that these guys are just scapegoats. Somebody like Sean Combs is a nobody when it comes to comparing him with the leaders on a world stage. He's like less than a pawn right now on the chessboard. And so they want to make him the scapegoat of all of this stuff going on, right? He's just a ritual sacrifice so that the people can feel like there's some type of resolution. Oh, if he stopped, then if we have Jeffrey Epstein, and okay, the trafficking is stopped. Now it's solved, it's resolved, right? It gives the people resolution, right? It's just like a movie. There's tension build up, and then right there's the climax, and then the resolution. Right, the resolution is like, the evil person is arrested, right? Because we want to believe in this whole evil versus good, and good eventually triumphs, right? So we want the resolution, like, the bad man is arrested, right? Nobody knew for 20, 30 years that all this stuff was going on, and now he's arrested, right? So going back to this political situation. That's all it is. It's like a little puppet show. These guys come out here, make all of these promises, make you feel good. Oh, we're gonna bring back jobs, or we're gonna bring back jobs to the country. They say the same stuff. I bet you if I made a compilation of the last 5 elections, right, and go all the way back to say, like, I don't know, Ronald Reagan or something, and even a little further, they'll all be saying the same thing, right? The country is at a pivotal turning point, and if we don't elect so and so, it's gonna be a disaster around the corner. These guys say the same stuff, then they get elected, and then they do their jobs. They get their money from these corporations. The corporations, pat them on the back, good job. They make sure they implement and push for favorable legislation for these entities. And it's just a simple status quo. So don't get caught up in taking this stuff seriously. If you go on Twitter right now, it's crazy because, and this shows you how brainwashed we are, as a people, and I'm not, and I mean as just society altogether, is that if you're basically under the Democratic umbrella, you think that Waltz won, this guy right here, the debate. If you're under the Republican, you're Trump supporter, you think that that Vance won the debate. It's not. There's no objectivity. I mean, if I just go through the comments, it's just like you could just tell who supports who. It's basically the brainwashing is so deep that basically whoever side you support it's like an optical illusion, like where you think that they won the debate. It reminds me of those pictures, like those drawings that they used to show you in school, the optical illusions, where like you look at it for a second, and it looks like you're seeing the silhouette of a lady's face, and then you look at it again, and it looks like a trophy or something like that, right? But it's the same picture, right? It's optical illusion, and sometimes they show you those pictures, to demonstrate, how your eyes work and how your brain, can play tricks on you and try to fill in the blanks. And it's a weird psyop how you can hear the debate, and depending on which side that you support, you'll say your guy won. And it's just amazing, how these elitist people have put all of this together, to keep the American, people brainwashed, dumbed down, and calm. Every 4 years, right? This tension builds up, and then it's like a resolution of the tension. And I believe that the elites all across the world learned a great deal from the various revolutions that took place all across the world, where you had the Russian Revolution, right? You had the French Revolution, and of course the American Revolution in 1776, just to name a few. And I think the lesson was learned by these kings and dictators that you can't just oppress the people, right? You can't just outright oppress the people for long periods of time, because at first people might be afraid of what's going to happen, right? So that they will, bear the oppression, for a certain amount of time. But then they get used to the oppression, and then it gets to a place to where they feel they have nothing to lose, and this what creates these revolutions. It reminds me of the famous quote attributed to Ben Franklin when the revolution was about to be started in America, and he was talking to his comrades, and he said, "We might as well hang together, or we will surely hang separately." And you get to a point where you feel there is nothing to lose. And so I feel that these elitists learned a lot from the three revolutions, that happened recently, in the last few hundred years, namely American, French, and Russian Revolution, right? You just can't, have the people just in abject poverty, and then you're, just flaunting your wealth, right? As what's going on in the old Russian kingdom, right? Under the Romanovs, right? The people were starving, and the Romanov family was living in the lap of luxury, and was totally disconnected with the people. And the same thing was going on in France. And so I feel that this idea of democracy, this idea that the people are going to decide who the leaders are, etc., although it sounds good on paper, I believe that this system has basically been hijacked and modified to a point where it's just basically now a show or a ritual that happens every 4 years, and that the people do not have any say whatsoever. Yes, you're allowed to pick the candidates, but then whoever the candidate is controlled by the multinational corporations, by the billionaires, by the super PACs, by the elites. So it doesn't matter who wins the election. So although you think one side, for instance, Trump, right, he's outspoken, he's going to do X, Y, Z, he's only going to be able to take it so far. You got to remember, right, all you Trump supporters out there. Now, I don't have a dog in the fight, okay? But you have to remember, all you Trump supporters out there, Trump was just on television, and I'm talking about reality television, right? The Apprentice a few years ago. This is not a long time ago. Trump used to be on WWE wrestling. Do you guys remember that? Has any of you seen the Mr. McMahon documentary on Netflix about the old WWF wrestling and the empire that Vince McMahon created? That's a very good documentary. I suggest that you check that out if you're a fan of wrestling, of WWF, for your old school guys out there, and then WWE wrestling, WCW. It's a fantastic documentary with all kind of footage from back in the day, and it takes you all the way up to 2024. But you have to think that Donald Trump was on WWE wrestling, right? I think as late as like 2014, 2015. I mean, not that late. Maybe in the 2010s or something, a little earlier than that. But definitely recent. You probably could find some clips on YouTube. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. But you got to remember, at the end of the day, there's a lot of acting going on. All right. So if you want to believe in this character that he's this, tough talking guy, abrasive, etc., etc., it is possible that it could just be just a character that, that he's putting on, right? Just some shtick, so to speak, like the wrestlers do. Okay. So it's just something to think about. I grew up in New York City. Again, I've seen Trump for a long time in different situations. So it is what it is, right? And then on the other side, I hate saying other side because I don't believe it's just basically the other side of the same coin. But on the Democratic side, again, you have this situation with Kamala Harris, right? Who we haven't even heard from for 4 years, basically. And of course, I'm exaggerating, right? But I mean, be honest. You haven't heard that much from her in 4 years. A couple of appearances here or there. She's basically been in the background. They're trying to put, and I'm talking about the Democratic Party, they're trying to put a man that is unfortunately facing all these health problems. It looks like dementia, senility. I'm not a doctor, but this is what it looks like, right? These definitely some kind of cognitive decline, right? Brain malfunction going on, and they're still trying to push this man in front of you and tell you that he's sharp as ever, sharp as a tack, all this stuff, lying right to your face. He's not passing the eye test, but they continue to lie to you until eventually it just becomes untenable, right? The illusion becomes untenable, so they say we need a replacement. Now, we're supposed to be in a democracy, right? Now, right, elected for the people, by the people, all this stuff. So we're supposed to be in a democracy. So when Biden stepped out of the race, why wasn't there a Democratic primary held so that the voters of the country that are from the Democratic Party can choose a candidate? Let Kamala run against other Democrats that might be interested in holding that position. Why was it that she was just selected? All right, selected, not elected, right? Sound like those preachers, right? Black preachers love to rhyme, right? This is not about election, it's about selection, right? From slave ships to championships. From the outhouse to the White House. So why was she just selected? So the people were totally bypassed as far as the selection. And then with the support of the media, Kamala Harris became this magical black woman all of a sudden. Right? Cooking collard greens in the bathtub and all this type of stuff. I don't know any black family that does that, but she supposedly did it. And again, it's not about race, is it? No, but they make it about race. Race is something that's just thrown in there. Race is, that's another video altogether, but race is something that always has to be in the mix, right? That's the boogeyman. Always has to have race in the mix in America, right? Still keep the pot going, right? It's like the war on drugs, right? You always have to have, have it going on, right? It's another distraction, right? Just a boogeyman. It's like homeless. Oh, we got to cure homelessness. You're always going to have homelessness. You're always going to have drugs, alcohol. People want to do those things. People are always going to hate each other. So as long as people hate each other, you're always going to have some kind of ism. You can have a sexism. You can have racism. So saying that, there's racism. Well, duh, of course there is. Right? There's always going to be religious animosity. Right? If you had a country that was only white people, right? Say you got rid of all the people in the country in America, all the people of color, you got rid of all of them, right? Something magical happened, and all the racist people, they got exactly what they want, and all you have is Caucasian people in the United States. You might have a period, 20, 30 years, and then all of a sudden there'd be some type of division over something else. It'll be the blonde hair people will start hating the people with dark hair, right? The people with blue eyes will start hating the people with green eyes, etc., etc. And God forbid the redheads, they're unfortunate for them. God get rid of the redheads. Then once you get all the people looking the same, say all the blonde hair people and blue eyed people went out, right? Say they get rid of everybody. Now everybody just has blue hair, blonde eyes. I'm sorry, blue eyes and blonde hair. 20 or 30 years, you will have the people that are above 6 foot hating the people that are below 6 foot. It'd be tall versus short. It's always going to be people competing against each other and hating each other. Haven't we learned from Europe over the last 500-600 years? The Inquisition, right? You had the Catholic Church, Catholics versus Muslims, Catholic versus Protestant, right? These people look the same as far as the skin color and all that stuff like that. Hey, you're always gonna find something to fight about. So that's why this is all BS. It's racism. Racism is just another way of saying, hey, people hate each other, but they're trying to make something that doesn't exist, right? Race is just a construct. Doesn't really exist. It's been given to the people it's like giving some cats a ball of yarn. The cats will keep hitting the ball of yarn around, passing it back and forth to each other, not looking at it, not really knowing what to do with it, just hitting it, and the yarn will unravel and there'll be strands everywhere. That's basically what racism is. It's like a big ball of yarn in the country, and those of us that are too dumb to realize that it's just something that's a man-made construct that's given to us to fight each other over something else, to divide and conquer with. We hit it back and forth. Oh, it's racism. I didn't get that job because he racist, right? I got fired because he racist. Oh, that cab didn't stop because the cab is racist. Oh, the waitress didn't bring me the food fast enough because she's racist, right? Everything is racist, right? They didn't let me swim in that swimming pool. It's racist. Everything's racist, right? They suspended me 15 days, and they only suspended my coworker 10 days because they're racist. Everything's racist. Right? Keep you focused on the wrong thing. All right. So this is the ball of yarn. So back to Kamala again. Not elected but selected. So now this person is forced in front of you, and with the backing of the media, right? With this supreme backing of the media, she's projected as this all of a sudden this brilliant person, this hard-working black woman in some circles, right? If you listen to the black stations, they're calling her black. The black radio stations, stuff like the Breakfast Club, that again paid to support the Democrats no matter what, right? Nobody scrutinizes anything. And this is how you know that it's a setup, because, again, if it was real, you would be able to go back and forth, scrutinize both sides. See how I'm talking? because nobody is sponsoring me, nobody is paying for me. So therefore, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, Trump is 100% right. Trump is this. Trump is that. Trump is great. Trump is awesome, and then be like, oh, Democrat side is bad. Everything they do is bad. That's how you know. That's how you know it's a bunch of nonsense. How could it be that one side is 100% right about everything, the other side is 100% wrong? How is it that one side is telling the truth? Because if you'll notice a lot of the narratives, each side will be like, so the Democrats will be like, after the debate, they'll be like, oh, Trump just lies all the time. So what you're saying is that he's lying all the time, but Kamala is telling the truth all the time. And then if you go to the other side, the Republican side, it'd be like, oh, Kamala was lying and Trump was telling the truth. How could that be? It can't be. That's how you know you just part of a game. You're just being manipulated. See, and then whatever side that you lean toward, it's gonna resonate with you. And this is just a game. This is just a game that they play constantly, right? So if you're a Democrat supporter and you heard Waltz talking right there, that explanation sounds perfectly plausible to you because you want to support. You already have it in your mind that you're supporting them. You don't want him to be a liar, right? How could you? Because it creates cognitive dissonance. How would you support a liar? So therefore, your mind have to justify the explanation. So since you're supporting him already or that team, that explanation, as long as it was, that at most that should have been a 15-second answer, right? But he has to jump through all types of hoops and hurdles. But again, if you're a supporter, that sounds perfectly reasonable. Oh yeah, he just misspoke. Why? Because you want to believe he's a nice guy. This is all things you'll find out in a basic psychology 101 course, right? You're gonna attribute negative attributes to people that you don't like. All right. So for instance, if you don't like somebody, you might call them stubborn, right? They could be doing the same action, right? You don't like somebody, he's so stubborn, right? He doesn't listen to anything. He's so stubborn, right? You don't like him. You don't like their action. But if you do like them, you be like, oh, they're determined, they're gritty. What's the difference? It's just that one is positive. See, determination is a positive attribute. Stubborn is not. Is a negative attribute. If you say, oh, he's stubborn as an ox, right? That's a negative. That's a negative attribute. It's the flip side of the same coin. It's just that if you agree with it, if it's something that you go along with it, then it's determination, right? It's grittiness, right? Oh, he's tough. When the going gets tough, the tough get going, right? But when you don't like it, oh, they're stubborn. Same thing, right? So if you like somebody, they misspoke. It was an accident, right? You put the positive spin on it because you like them. Oh, it was an accident. Oh, you know how they are. How many? You ever have somebody? Like say you're in a third party situation. It's you, maybe your friend, somebody else, and somebody is like acting out of sorts, and then the friend tries to defend them. They be like, oh, they're just having a bad day, or oh, that's just how they are. You'll get used to it, right? They'll say, not you'll get used to it, but they'll say something like, oh, you just gotta get to know them, or something like that. In other words, they'll put a positive spin on it because they like the person. Once you get to know him, like he's really cool, but you gotta get to know, stuff like that. If you don't like the person, right? Say you don't know the person, that's just a first expression. You be like, man, that person, you be like, yo, what was that? Like, oh, that person got a bad attitude. Like, I don't like that person. Like, that person's evil. Like, you're not evil. You'd be like, oh, that person is a liar, right? You won't say, oh, they misspoke. You'd be like, that guy's lying. Yeah, they're lying. They can't be trusted. So if you hear this same response and you're a Trump supporter, you'd be like, look, this guy's a liar. This guy Walls is a liar. He can't be trusted. But if you're a Harris supporter, You can be like, oh, he just misspoke. Like he's around the country. Hey, he's a knucklehead, right? That's a nice word. I'm just a knucklehead, right? That's all part of the game, right? It's set up to where whatever you lean toward, it's gonna fit for you. That the election, all that stuff is already decided. Everybody's voting for who they're gonna vote for. They always show these stupid panels at the end of the show, like, oh, Chicago voters, what do they think about the debate and how are they gonna vote now? And then person gets up there and like, oh, I was gonna vote for Trump, but after such and such answer, I'm voting Democrat and all this stuff right now. You know, you could believe that, again, the dog and pony show if you want to, but again, if you're looking at Fox Network, which is basically Republican supporting network, they're not gonna have some people up there saying, oh, I was gonna vote for Trump, but now I'm voting for Kamala Harris. They're not gonna allow that. And the same thing on the left, Democrat leaning networks. You know, on CNN, they're not gonna have somebody up there saying, hey, I was voting for Kamala, but after hearing Waltz lie about his military service, now I'm gonna vote for Trump. They're not gonna allow that. Everything is set up to guide, right, and engineer, certain outcomes that they want. All right. It reminds me of an Ozzy Osbourne lyric in the song Crazy Train. And the lyric goes, if I can remember correctly, it goes, one person conditioned to lead and control. The media sells it and you live the role. And I always remember that lyric. It always stuck with me because that's what it is. These people you see on TV, right? They're not the final boss, so to speak. They're just put up in front of you and they're being controlled by unseen forces. Right? So the person that's put in front of you is the person that's conditioned, right, to rule and control. The news anchor that you depend on for your nightly news, right? You remember these guys back in the day, Ted Koppel for your nightly news, right? They put a guy on there, right? He's in a suit. He looks trustworthy. You can depend on him, right? Wolf Blitzer. Who else they have? Tom Brokaw, right? All of these guys, like, they're supposed to be representative of, trustworthy journalism, right? And that's the premise that you have to accept, and that's how you get deceived. Because you see a guy, right, he's tall, whatever, 6'2", 6'3", they try to get a guy that looks fit, and, whatever, the jawline, all that stuff, right, full-headed hair, and you trust that, right, because there's something about, beauty and symmetry that we tend to give superior attributes to. That's why they try to have good looking people sell products and things like that, because we even back in the days, right, before of course all like the women's movements and all that stuff like that, you would have like, they will always have like women on cars, trying to sell cars and stuff like that and advertisements. Why? Because we equate beauty with goodness, right? It's like something that we're wired. We look at beauty with goodness, beautiful, flowers and things like that. We associate the two together. And again, this is how the deception works. Part of it. So they have a news anchor. The guy's there like, hey, I'm Tom Brokaw. Like, I'm bringing you nightly news. Then you find out later on these guys are involved in all type of scandals and stuff like that. But those are just puppets. They're there to condition. They're there to condition and control. They deliver the message. They deliver that false message. You accept the false message, and then you go in your life and you live under these bogus ideas, right? You out there, oh, everybody's racist. You out there thinking the America's gonna be America's gonna coming to the end if we don't vote for Trump. Or you running out there, oh, these guns are out of control and all this stuff like that, because they give you the messages. They show you the violence on the news nightly. They're not gonna show you anything positive and good. They're just gonna show you the violence over and over. But part of that is because the society is wicked also. So we actually like that stuff. So, but even though we don't want to admit it, we don't want it to happen to us. We just like seeing it from a distance. That's why these stories are so popular, like Puffy and all that stuff like that. We love that. We can't wait to the videos come out. We thirsty. We can't wait till like some type of the P Diddy sex tape come out. Let a sex tape drop out with Cassie on it or something like that. See how popular that, or J Lo Diddy sex tape from '99 drop, and see what happened. All the fake outrage and like he's a monster and all this stuff like that. See, that's the thing. People don't want to embrace the wickedness and that's in the country and in the world. Then once you understand that, then you can move on. Then you can move on from that. But as long as you fake it and try to have this fake righteousness, that's why you see the dichotomy. That's why on one end you're screaming for things to be better. You want things to be better, but things are not. Because as long as you embrace those things that are not righteous, that's what's gonna be constantly put before you. So all of this stuff, like these actors, these celebrities, if you notice, a lot of these celebrities in Hollywood come out and endorse certain candidates. They're paid to do that. They're told to do that. They might not even be paid like as far as with cash concerned, but paid with acting roles, paid with future opportunities. Right? They were paid to tell you, oh, stay home during the pandemic. Meanwhile, they were at parties, right? You heard about the guy, right? He was one of the leading COVID guys. He having all type of parties and stuff like that, right? They tell you that. And that's what I mean. They have a person conditioned to lead and control. That person that's on that stage, he has a lot of charisma. That's why these singers, they're talented. See, what they do is they take the talented people and put them before you. They control. What they do is they spot talent. This is the elites. They spot the talent, and then they entice the talent. Come with us. We're gonna make you a big star. We're gonna give you power, things that you never dreamed of. They get the talent under control, and then they use the talent to just control the masses of the people. And as long as you have the people controlled like that, you don't never have to worry about any kind of organized uprisings or anything like that, because what you do is you just keep the people constantly divided with various issues. There's something for everybody. So if they can't get you with the sexism, right, again with the boogeyman, man against women, if they can't get you with that, right, that's why you have all of this content, the red pill, all that stuff like that. That's all part of the game too. Men of this, women of that, etc., etc. So if they can't get you with that, then they get you with something else. Maybe it's the racism pill. Get you with that. So now you caught up chasing that boogeyman. If it's not that, maybe it catch you in there's a fentanyl pandemic in fentanyl epidemic on the war on drugs. Get you caught up in that constant, or get you caught up in the whole these migrants are coming, illegal immigrants are taking over the country. Constantly have you divided against each other. So anyway, that is my take. Man, this video went long. I don't even know how long the video is, but that's my take on this whole idea of illusion, right? The illusion of choice, right? That basically it doesn't matter who wins. It's gonna work out. it's gonna work out for the corporate entities in power, right? It's just that this is just a show for you. So maybe after the show is over, you should thank them for putting on such a good show, because you've been truly entertained, right? They put a man that's like knocking on heaven's door basically in front of you and told you that he was completely cognizant and he was ready to go. And another question too before we leave, please hit that like button. and consider donating to the channel. Another thing before we go is, if he wasn't fit to run for president, how's he still the president right now? How's he fit to running day-to-day operations? Right? That should further let you know that the country is not being run, like this. The way you being told the country's being run, it's not being run like that. That's just food for thought. So, and then another thing also is, if you're already in office, you're vice president of the United States, why would you run your campaign as if you're not in office, making all these promises? Why can't you just do what, and this has been brought up several times, why wouldn't you just do why wouldn't you just implement some of the policies right now? You mean to tell me that you don't have the voice of the president? You don't have the ear of the president, that you could just say, hey, we need to do something about this border. Just name a random example. We need to do something about this border right now. Right? We need to, we've been in office 3 years, so why is it that the campaign from the Democratic side is being run as if they were not in office? The reason why all these promises are being made is because that's all they are. They're just empty promises. They're just trying to get another 4 years and then it just be status quo. Right? The bottom line is this, people. And this definitely applies to my young people out there. If you don't work hard, because the thing is about this country, there's a lot of opportunity out here. There's nobody holding arms in front of the college universities telling you that you can't go to college, or you got to go to the colored college, or anything like that. All bets are off. All the opportunities are open. If you want to be a locomotive engineer, if you want to be a construction worker, if you want to be a doctor, you can do all of that stuff right now. So put the boogeyman brainwashing aside and just go for it. This goes for men and women, young, old. Go for it. Put the brainwashing aside. Free your mind. It's like George Clinton used to say with Parliament Funkadelic: free your mind and your ass will follow. And that is true. Take the chains off your mind. There's nobody stopping you from going to the universities. Nobody stopping you from going to the trade schools. The sky is the limit. The only limit is yourself. And the only way you can limit yourself is that you accept some misguided information. If you're deceived, and then you limit yourself based off of that deception. So that's my take. That's my take on that. Go for it. Whatever it is you're trying to do, whether it's in business, go for it. Because basically, it doesn't matter who gets elected. Your life is gonna be what it's gonna be. All right. So stop thinking like some person gonna get in office, right? How many times you gonna fall for the same trick? Obama already been in office for 2 terms. Did your life improve drastically when Obama got in office? When Trump got in office? When Biden got in office? When Gore, I don't know how old you are, but when Gore got in office, Clinton, was there a big improvement? Basically, if you work hard, you got your bachelor's degree, whatever it was, master's degree, you made the right decisions, you're doing well regardless. That's basically how it is. If you don't work hard, you're gonna end up, with the victim mentality, basically blaming somebody else, blaming certain situation, trying to blame the economy and this and that. I can't stand when you see these people protesting on TV and stuff, and they be like, "Oh, we need to bring jobs down here," right? So like an inner city area. "Oh, we need more jobs over here," And it's like, are you even qualified for the job? See, that's the thing. People aren't even qualified for the job. Job might need certain qualifications, degrees, right? Certain and even if it's not a job where you need a degree, you might need a trade skill. You might need to know how to weld, know how to fix cars and things like that. Are you even qualified? They might, they don't need somebody that could just do menial tasks like mop a floor or hammering nails or something like that, or dig dishes. They need somebody that knows how computer systems work in the car, can do some IT work. Find out what's needed and get qualified, and then talk about jobs. And then on top of that, if you need to move to an area where there's better opportunities, you move. Nothing is forcing you to stay somewhere, as far as I know. Sometimes you gotta be willing to move. Do you know that's where the term journeyman came from? And they talk about journeyman iron workers, journeyman, construction workers. That's where the term journeyman comes from, because they used to have to travel, and you still do have to travel today. You used to have to travel for work. If there was no work in New York, you go to Boston, you go to Philly. Shout out to my journeyman iron workers out there, which I am. I am a journeyman iron worker. That's a trade that I have amongst other skills. You might have to travel. You might have to go to Philly. You might have to go to New Jersey, Boston, Connecticut. You go where the work is. There's no like, oh, they need to bring jobs here. What kind of mentality is that? Like somebody's obligated to bring a job to you on the silver platter. It's ridiculous. But again, it's all a mentality. If you had that victim mentality, that's how you gotta come up with statements like that. Oh, you need to bring jobs here. What does that mean? How about you create a job? What about that mentality? You tell me which mentality is better. Mentality 1, they need to bring jobs here. Mentality 2, create a job. So with that, hit the like button, and I'll see you guys on the next video.